This is Show versus Business, pop culture meets pop money with your host, the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, what's going on this week?
Man, what's going on? We are freestyling, we are flowing, we are enjoying the summer vibes in July. I just had a birthday, so I'm a little hyped because I'm a little wiser than I was like a week ago. It's all good, man. We got some Kendrick Lamar to talk about again. The train keeps rolling, man. We got some AI instances. We both had a little experience with some AI action going on over the week, so that's going to be a little interesting. Let's see what else we got on the list. The new Captain America trailer came out. Theo, I'm not sure if you saw it. I hope you did, but we got that. Of course, we got to talk a little bit about Terrence Howard because why not? And a black Superman. We already brought it up, but we're talking about blackness today a little bit, so we might as well throw him in there. And Redbox is shutting down. We're gonna toss that in the mix too. But as I said, we're freestyling it. We have show notes down there that you can check the timestamp to see what we're talking about and when. Thank you, James, for doing that. But aside from that, Theo, how's your week?
Mr. Benja. Wow, the week is not over yet. It's Friday. We're recording this on a special Friday pod. So yeah, man, I'm out of it right now. As you guys can see, I have my little corporate purple on. So I'm still in corporate mode, but I'm starting to get back into weekend mode, Theo. So yeah, it's coming, man. But so far, man, I've been listening to some interesting podcasts lately. Do you know that Joker, Adam Comover? That's how you say it. Conover. They said it's wrong.
You
We
said
put it in the
comb
show
over.
notes, guys. Yeah, he is a Conover. Adam Conover. He had this show on True TV years ago. It says Adam ruins everything, and
Yeah.
he's just a comedian slash, I guess, satirist or whatever that just goes around throwing flames. He came prominent with the strike. I think he was on the writer strike committee for whatever reason. So he just blew up on the internet and he does his thing. But he recently had a conversation about AI, and he said it's nothing. He thinks it's just hype burger. It's another meta excuse me, it's another metaverse, it's another coin, it's just another con that tech is pulling over our eyes, Mr. Benja. And so this is something I know this is more about kind of our weekly discussion, but maybe we'll open up for discussion one on this one. But you know what, man? I think I may agree with them. As someone who is the hot take, I know, but someone who, saw the possibility of what AI can do and the possibility of what it could mean for the future. I'm starting to realize, you know what? A lot of stuff they're talking about is still a ways away. And I've
Okay.
seen the other issues, the limitations on chips, limitation on training data that's starting to come up. You're like, are we hyping this for no reason and putting all this fear out there about AI taking over where we're basically still in basic math with AI now? And Adam brought that up on his podcast. So I'm going to open up. Producer James, go ahead and put this on wax, man. This would be something we want to talk about.
So, what do you think AI has been promising that we're not getting?
Yeah, good point. I think the futuristic version of AI, you just tell it whatever and it knows exactly what you want and can basically what they call what agents that just can I want to take a flight to Paris. So I just say that and then all of a sudden I have tickets to go to Paris. And so I think that's the dumbed down version I look at it right now. If you look at all the versions of AI that we've seen out there, how from what's it called? The classic movie 2000 Odyssey, I think that was what it's called. And then also her, just someone you can is almost indistinguishable from a human being that you'd speak to. But I don't think we're there yet. I was playing with AI with my son.
Mhm.
I'm using the app version, the voice version of ChatGPT on your iPhone. I don't know if you play with that yet. And we're just talking about, okay, what does it take to be a great basketball player? Is not there yet, right? You still gotta give a lot of
Right.
context and it still gotta understand certain things and ask you too many questions and it's too polite. It's just this is a big gap. Now, granted, it could get better. I get that. But so if you going back to your original question, my thought has been like AI is going to be this, and I know it's going to take time to get there, but I think it's going to take a lot longer than people realize.
I see. So I was wondering where we diverged in opinions on this, because I'm thinking AI is still on track to change the world, do X, Y, and Z, and every, I think it's a game changer. But from what you said, I just realized that I'm thinking of it not from a consumer level point of view. I'm thinking about how it starts to change the underlying structure of a lot of interaction, a lot of behaviors in the same way that that the internet it's like, "Hey, the internet," and my aunt was like, "I don't care. Imma call you anyway." "Oh, no, you can email me. It's this new thing on the internet." She's like, "Yeah, whatever. Be at your phone because 'cause I'm gonna call you, and if you don't pick up, you don't get your birthday gift." And she's actually pulled that on me before where I didn't get my birthday gift. I was like, "You kidding me?" But I'm thinking about it from a infrastructure kind of view, so that's where
Well,
I'm
I think
coming
that's a good analogy, right? The internet was mostly infrastructure for a long time. If you wanna interact with people, you had to go to those message boards and communicate, or you
Yeah.
had or you remember back at FAM, I had to go to the, e-building, and we would go on the computer, and we use our FAMU email or Hotmail to communicate with folks, and that was still early days of it. But eventually, to your point, it became more available for consumers where video, audio, started listening to podcasts, Napster. We started downloading torrents, right, to watch
Yeah.
videos and movies. So it became more commercialized, but the infrastructure had to be built up. And so I hear your point. You're saying AI is still building the infrastructure in place. What I'm saying is, I still think that's still ways away because these chips are so expensive, Mr. Benja.
Mhm.
And I saw some VC companies they're enticing companies to come. So VCs vie for top promising companies to invest in. They're enticing them now, not with more money, but hey, we have access to 20,000 CPUs to train your AI. Yeah, so I'm like, so that must be a real thing, and obviously, that's why NVIDIA's killing it, the game right now. But that's the other thing too, was the other thing they mentioned, Adam, in this conversation, in this podcast, he mentioned that the training data set is I think they're saying there's not enough there to help make these algorithms more advanced. Now, I don't know if you have any insight on that, but the more I thought about it, looked at it, I was like, I think he's right. There is a limit to what we have out there that it can digest. And also, let's be honest, a lot of stuff they scraped off the internet and stuff, there's still tons of stuff that's private that now that we know these algorithms out there, people are not trying to give access to.
I think on that end of things that you're dealing with lazy minds. I was trying to think of a way to put it, but if you've got a large data set and you're just throwing AI at it and then walk away with your coffee and let it compile its results for the next 3 hours, and then you walk back in the office and like, "This sucks." That's what you're gonna get. When I was working in, video games, the artificial intelligence, which wasn't automatically generated, which was a key factor, there was really a lot of work put in between a lot of smart people, psychologists, gamers, programmers, designers. We even got a cartographer in, a map guy in one point, and we were like, okay, how do animals figure their way around the world? And so they do this, and they have landmark points. And okay, we started programming these little modules into the system where here's what a landmark is. That for in the computer AI's mind, it was a bunch of coordinates, but this one was flagged as special landmark. This one was flagged as people like to stay here. This one was flagged as dangerous because you might fall and die or something. So we started having to go in and customize what the world meant to the AI. And once we got that done, which honestly took a couple months to get right, and when I say workable, still not done. Once you got it to a certain point, you're like, okay, now we can just throw stuff at it. And within this section of a game, in this case, the AI is pretty decently intelligent. And this was stuff we were doing back in 2000s.
Mm.
You talk about 2015, 25 years later, you have to pull back a little bit, I think, from the idea of just I got phone books of data, I got maps, I got people's eating habits, I got telephone bills. I'm just throw it all over a wall and it's gonna be able to know everything.
And I think your point is valid, right? Yes, for very specified tasks, right? You can pull all this data in and get the AI to a reasonable point, right? That makes sense. Really, ChatGPT is just a large language model, right? Now they're trying to
Mhm.
expand upon that with more opportunity to take in audio and take in visual information. But the question or the challenge I have is, can we really get to AGI, artificial, what's it called? General intelligence, right? Is that something that's possible? Because you had to lay so much groundwork to build
Mhm.
that infrastructure to make it passable, right? AGI is something that's can you walk and chew gum at the same time? No, I can only chew gum because I got
Right.
the data for that, and I can only walk. Putting it together on my own is that possible? And
Is that necessary? That's
well,
like
yeah, if you wanted to so you're saying we're just gonna have all these AIs just do one specific task? I don't think that. Are we gonna have a super AI that manages all the other AIs and do these tasks for them?
I
Is that what
believe so, and I believe that is okay. If you think about there's in our games, we had just like this, we had AI, this thing called an AI brain. I actually remember this from, the code. It said AI brain. You're like, "What's that?" That's the AI's brain, and
oh,
underneath it, it had all these different modes and states that it would go through, where it was in a fighting mode, it was in a traveling mode, it was in a wandering mode, and it just had these different bits of AI. The reason I mentioned the different bits and having to get them to work together at some later date is because the individual bits is what you're seeing now with the images. If you want an anime character in with any kind of hair or whatever, there's plenty of images out there. It's pretty much got that figured out. All the anime poses that people have ever drawn, it's pretty much got that one thing figured out. Now, I wouldn't ask it to go figure out like what would a caveman stick drawing look like. It's going to come up with something,
mhm.
but no one's really throwing that much data in terms of like how stick figures should be drawn. I know because I looked up stick figures and was trying to get it to realistically draw certain stick figures. And I was like, huh, it can do complex anime far better than they can do stick figures. This is interesting. And
It wasn't trained on that data set.
exactly. So, who needs it to do everything? If I just want it to do one simple thing, like, hey, man, you're my AI, just get me to whatever destination I need to get to. And there are only a certain number of things it's going to do. It's going to check like the train routes, it's going to check the airplanes. If you localize it and give it a very small set of information to deal with and a very small set of results that you want from it, then I think you're going to get a lot more gain a lot more quickly.
Okay.
But I don't think
Well,
anybody
like I
actually
said,
cares about having a robot in the corner of your room except for Elon or,
I don't know, man.
Bezos.
Like I said, there's something there, but I just I am getting a whiff of this whole and I've lived it, right? We've lived it both. The
Sure.
internet of all the things, maybe mobile technology and the internet, and maybe a few other smaller things that really blew up. But I'll count on maybe one hand that really transformed how we live our lives, and so they're saying AI is the next thing after whiffing on the metaverse, whiffing on
Yeah.
NFTs, whipping on
Yeah.
crypto, and I get that's where Adam's coming from, just saying, "Hey, this is
Okay.
another foolishness," but like I said, I am leaning toward I think it will be changing, but I don't think it's gonna be as game changing as we think, and so the proof is gonna be in the pudding. We can debate, man,
Yeah. No, no.
I'm gonna be on this side and you're gonna be on that side. I'm gonna be the anti-AI guy now. Uh-oh.
Well, no,
Yeah, and I use it. I use it too.
I
Don't
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 know
get
what stuff is going to happen. I really don't. But what's interesting to me and what's fun about this whole thing is that stuff usually pops up that we're just completely not expecting, even if it's from the negative side. When people said they were adding cameras to phones, do you remember how many people scoffed at that as being a stupid idea?
I
Like,
do,
why would
yeah.
you put a camera in a phone? And
Mhm.
I had I believe it was a Nokia phone of some type, actually, but I got it through Verizon at the time, and I was like, "This is gonna be cool." They had to be ad set up. It was the pictures on it were worse than my Game Boy at the time, which is pretty terrible. And I was like, "This is terrible." But hey, look, it's a picture, and I probably still have some of those images. If I find one, I'll send them. But
Yeah.
that simple thing that nobody wanted, that nobody cared for, suddenly became the thing. And once Facebook hit, images were being sent around. Facebook goes mobile first, images from pictures everywhere. Facebook buys Instagram, pictures again. Snapchat, Tumblr, leading all the way up to TikTok. Now we've got the short form video, which is pretty amazing. I don't know if I told you the story. I was talking to a young girl. She was 23 or something. Yeah. And she was like, I was like, hey, so what are you doing on your phone? What are you kids up to? Trying to connect, right?
Yeah.
What are you kids up to? Like, "Oh, I watching some stuff," and I'm thinking, "Oh, what do you like to watch? One Piece, anime, or this or that?" She said, "I don't really watch shows. I just watch TikTok." I was like, "Oh,
Well,
okay." Hours at a time, short form video from everybody. So, back to the point. We didn't expect images to become this big thing and video to become this big thing, and it happens so slowly and consistently that we don't look back and think about how amazing that is.
no, I agree. So, like I said, the jury's still out. I think I get the whiff of would the number go up, but that's the
Yep.
argument, right? That's a phrase if you never heard it before, that growth at all costs, right? By these tech companies. And
Yeah.
so I is a part of that conversation. We always got it. This is the next big thing. So we're gonna invest in it heavily so the number can keep going up. We get more and more people, more and more money. So I get that argument. And so to your point, we're gonna see how it evolves. And that's why we discuss it, man, on the
What
podcast.
what what would you like to see? What would entertain you or
Yeah,
make you like, "Oh, this is
I just
awesome."
want it to be more useful, right? It takes a lot to get it to a certain point. Just the way
Okay.
ChatGPT is right now. I used it with my son example, but I recently tried to use it to source some information for some data I was trying to do, right? So I have a process I go through to create my prompts around what persona do I need to have, right? What's the context, right? What to avoid. So it's like all these different bits and pieces to get it somewhat passable, and then it's still not there, right? So I got just
Yeah.
some more tweaks. So it's like so it doesn't get you there exactly what you want. And I don't know if it ever could because sometimes you can't even articulate exactly what you want, right? Until you see it. And so I think AI, the promise of AI being something that, almost like an assistant to you and doing what you needed to do, it almost has to know you almost intimately in your way of thinking and your processes, and I don't think it can get to that point to make it extremely useful. But to your point, I don't know, right? We're gonna evolve. I do see it being abused heavily right now. We're in the midst of a election in the United States. I'm seeing so much gobbledygook out there, and the people on my team, interns, as soon as they show up, they're getting hacked, social hacked. People find our and they say, "Oh yeah, this is Theo. He's trying to get. I want you to buy me some gift cards and ship it to
Not
me."
the gift cards.
And yeah, literally the gift card scam. But I'm saying that you're gonna see more proliferation of that, just random text because people getting access to things and using AI to scale out a lot faster. And so I think I'm seeing the bad part of it too, proliferate more. But to be honest, internet was like that too. How many of us saw scammy images for years? Or what was that? You go to these web pages with SEO, you had nothing but thousands of words, right? For
Yeah.
you know, boobs or something like that, right? You're like, I'm on this site. SEO. Yeah, man. So anyway, like I said, I just threw it out there. That was something that was top of mind for me. But one person, real quick, I know we don't talk about politics, but who's having a terrible, not so good, very bad day or week, if you will. Joe Biden, man. This dude, I don't know if you've been paying attention to this mess. I know we don't talk about it, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, let's go.
it's hilarious, man, to me. James, put this on wax, please. Cause this dude, man, he's fighting for his life. Why don't you
Literally.
sit down, man? Literally. If he doesn't run for president, I think he might unfortunately kill over. And so that's sad. It's almost like seeing your grandparents put all this effort to do something and then, son, I did it. I'm doing my best I can. You're like, no, grandfather, just sit down, man. You're old. And so I feel for him and I feel like I don't know what to say, man. This is the sad part of what's happening right now in the country. And I don't know if you have any opinions on it. I just wanted to just comment on that right now, the sad state of affairs of what's happening. And a person who realizes he probably shouldn't do the job, but he's like holding on for some reason. I don't know why.
What's interesting, I saw a bunch of not an argument, but a discussion info share dump online between amongst a group of people that were looking up what happens when a president takes office and decides to step out. Can they do that? Can that be a plan?
Mhm.
And apparently, some people say, yeah, it can actually be a total plan. So if he wins the election, he can be like, cool, I'm a figurehead. And then Kamala steps up. And that's the thing where he's just standing over to the side. Go ahead.
Well,
And
that's the challenge, man. He could have done that months ago, years ago, a year ago, right? And just
yeah, but if he does that now, you don't want to start that talk now because then all of a sudden you're I think you're going to just be giving the election over to Trump if you try that right now at least.
yeah.
So,
And so the argument is that Kamala or anybody else that comes take his place couldn't be Trump. but he's not beating Trump right now in the polls, let's be honest. So it's and that debate was so disastrous. It was like literally in the first 7 minutes, I text my parents and I said, "It's over. Trump won." It was just I couldn't even watch the whole thing. It was just like, what is he saying? And then what made it worse, it was a clear comparison too, because it was like split screen like this. You got one person telling lies, but he was articulate, he was energetic, his voice didn't sound garbly. And you had the other person just, I said this and just trailed off. You're like, what are you talking about? It was and then when they put the if he was just by himself, that's one
Yeah.
thing. But the split comparison, it was like night and day. It was like, oh, this the best we can do. Wait a minute, he's got the best PR people, the best marketing people, and this is the best they could do in the world? Oh my god. So anyway, so make a long story short, I just feel yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Maybe we live in interesting times and see what happens. I think he's gonna try to white knuckle it and try to stay in,
Yeah.
but I don't think, yeah, that's not gonna be good. One thing, and we talked about it last week. I think one thing people don't realize is that Project 2025, that people are really scared about that. So that might be the undercover sneak up attack that we talked about that might stem Trump from getting elected. But we'll see, man. Like I said, I don't know how did we get here. That's all.
Yeah, this is a theme that's kept coming up and it's gotten worse and worse over the years. This idea of we're not here to make things better, we're here to win. And that's when things, not when things start to go bad, but that's a definite sign of things going bad when that's common talk. And
Mhm.
it's all right, what do I do with that? I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, man, like I said, we dabble in politics, guys. But Mr. Benja, how was your week?
24 minutes in, let me see if I can remember. Week was funny, man. I had a birthday and I did the most introvert thing I could think of. I turned off my notifications and I built a website. Um,
Yes.
and it was glorious. Yeah, I had fun though. I was just like, you know what, man, I haven't done, let me just crack my knuckles, get in there, did an all nighter. The sun came up and I was like, oh, I still got it. Still get in there and bang some stuff out. But yeah, I had a good week, man. I'm working on the whole rollout and launch for my new book that's coming out, Jot Booking, and I was feeling really good about it, so I went ahead and did that. Learned some things, gonna get back on it this weekend, and I got the weeks planned out over there on my little calendar. It's great.
Love it, man. I love it. I hyped you up, man. I said, yes, do it. So yeah, man, that's how you do it, brother. So that's how
Well,
you do it.
to that point, I didn't want to disappoint you because I said the book was gonna be out earlier. I never mentioned this, but at some point it stopped becoming a smaller, like the 90-minute Joe Polish book, and I
Mhm.
realized there was a little more meat that I wanted to put on it because I'm throwing this bone out to a couple people, and I want them to have something to chew on, so that's what happened. I was like, "Let me just go in on it a little bit further." So,
No worries, man. At least you got it out, man. That's half the battle. Well, it's 90% of the battle to me. And then because I heard Alex Hormozy say this story, and someone else said this story about the pottery class. Two cohorts of people
yeah,
took
it
a
came from
pottery
the
class.
book Art and Fear. I think I told you about that years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's talking about that. So anyway, the mantra is basically two cohorts of people take a pottery class. One group is saying, take your time and make the best vase ever. The other group is just to make as many vases as they could. And so you think in the group that took their time and made the best vase ever, and they made some great ones. But when you looked at the ones who made so many, they did so many so often that they got better and better, and the complexity and the artwork was just so much more superior than the ones who just did one. It's just really about the work of just getting out there and doing more. And so that's what I've been leaning toward more of a hey, yeah, just get that thing out. Yes. Because guess what? The book behind me, man, that's
Yeah.
this already working on volume two. Edition 2, man, so it's one of those things, but yeah, congratulations, man, just get the work done, I love it.
How is your how are you with your when you go through a cycle and you complete something, how are you what part of the process is, like, the part where you're having fun with it? Because it's like, you start the beginning, research, you put stuff together, you bang it out, you test, you release, and then you go back. What part of that cycle causes you the most hiccups,
Good
you
point.
think?
Yeah, man, that's an insightful thought. So, obviously, the beginning part, super excited, and so I think most people are, right? But then when I sit down and write it out, then I know how excited I am, right? 'Cause then I start thinking, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I could do this, I could do this." And then as if I'm still typing almost down the page and I'm like, "Okay, this is a good idea." If I'm like halfway in, thinking about the negatives at that point, I'm like, "I don't know, this is a good
Oh,
project." So I'm more of a I use that momentum of the excitement of the idea to determine if this is something worthwhile. And then, but to your point, and then now if it's very rarely something I let it sit and then let it marinate, let the subconscious kind of get on me. And then I come back to it later. And then typically I get that next momentum. It's to me, it's that last 10% that gets me every time. Like last night I had to get something out
mhm.
and I'm sitting here procrastinating like a mug. So I did a little bit earlier in the day, and I'm sitting around. I said, "Okay, I'm going after that 8, I'm just gonna chill out and then start watching old Game of Thrones clips," right? Knowing I gotta get this thing out last night. I'm sitting here watching this guy, the recap guy, going all the recaps of all the
Yeah.
seasons of Game of Thrones. I was like, "Why am I doing this?" I said, "Okay, stop." So I got my coffee and just banged out the last 10%. But it's like that last 10%, I don't know what it is. 'Cause it's I don't know, for me, and you're right, it's just even though I say bang it out, I suffer from it too. It's good enough, or I got this other idea I could do, or what is the that last 10% is always the toughest for me.
So it's a good place to be, man. Some people I know get so excited during that phase. They're just like, "Yeah, we're finishing it up and da da da, and we're doing this, and well, let's go fix this and let's talk." I'm like, "Wow, okay." I was done a long time ago. That's my problem. At some point, I'm like, "It's done in my head. It's done." And then
I
I'm
love
like, "This sucks." Yeah, man. Speaking of getting stuff done and not being done, man, Kendrick keeps coming, man. He just he's got new songs bubbling in the background. And you sent us some business information. I asked if you'd ever been to Tam's Burgers, and neither of us had. But you said something about, let me see, where's that? Actually, go ahead and give me that recap. What about it?
Yeah, yeah, Tam's Burgers, big business there in Compton. He was doing the video there, obviously hyping them up. Said they got 30, 40% more revenue in the last month because of the video. Just blew up because of not this video obviously blew up. Got business so yeah, he's just making landmarks of places in Compton that people go to all the time. And so that is something that's insightful, man. I think that's amazing, man. You know what? I put this can I pivot a little bit though, besides the music, video business push? Yes, he obviously defeated Drake, right? That's clear, but has he defeated hip hop music for the whole year? Because 'Cause I'm hearing other artists come out. I think Eminem has something, someone else mentioned something coming out. I don't give a care. Do you?
I do not give a care. Get out of here.
Some other artist came out with something. I can't remember who it was, but I'm like, "Where's Kendrick?" 'Cause
Yeah.
he's literally defeated hip hop music. I don't think anyone can come after him the rest of this year because I don't think anyone would top the year that he had.
Yeah.
What do you
No,
think about that?
you got it, man. It's just the discussion point. And what's funny is it's become enough of a discussion point where you're starting all my normal reactors who like react to anime or react to movies or whatever that do recaps for we got the people who do Star Wars recaps doing a recap on the Kendrick Lamar's Not List video. I'm like, come on, man. Nobody wants to hear from you. Okay, I'll hear from you just this once.
This is crazy, man. He literally just changed the conversation. Heck, one of our top views, long form views was a Kendrick Lamar conversation piece thumbnail. But I'm just like, man, this is yeah, he really has dominated conversation. And like Drake, man, I think Drake was trying to come out with something or whatever, but I don't know, man. He might have to, I don't know. He might have to just really maybe come out with some dreads or something. Come out with just this is a totally new genre for like a year. Kind of remember what Garth Brooks, he came out as a golf guy for a little bit, the country
Mhm.
singer. Remember he came
Yeah.
out as a golf guy for a minute. People were like, what the hell are you doing? Man, that's what Drake needs to do, man. Just go undercover, go work some local bars.
Yeah. I was at a design I was discussing something with some designers, and one of the old school heads who really knew the industry and his stuff about game development was like, "Okay, if somebody makes enough of a mark and you wanna come out, you've either gotta come out better than them in that thing. If it's a fighting game, you gotta come out with something that's not just 5% better, because that's who cares. We're all invested in the original thing. You've got to
Mm,
come out with something way better 50, 75, 100%, two times as good. You can't just come
mm,
out with something moderately okay. Or you've got to come out with something that's a really big twist. If somebody came out with Grand Theft Auto and then somebody came out with a Western Grand Theft Auto, unfortunately, Rockstar did both of those, so it's hard to deal with. It's you've got to do something in the same line, something with a twist, or you just got to pack up your bags and say, look, I'm going that way because I cannot even hang in the same sphere as this guy in the same atmosphere. So if Drake or somebody was going to do something different, you might as well you might as well join MMA.
mm.
Drake's going to have his first MMA fight, and then people might be like, actual MMA? Sure, I'll tune into that.
Good point. That's a good idea. I like that. You're right. It's like you really have to get out of music.
Get out.
I'm done. Yeah, you're right. 'Cause to build up interest again in what you're doing and stuff like that. I never thought of it like that. But yeah, that's so true. It's I think Alex Hormozy said on one of the videos recently, he said all the gains go to the top 1%, right? So it's like you do a little bit more work, but because you're so much better than everybody else, you get all the gains. And that's similar, right? If Kendrick Lamar's getting all the attention, you could just walk in front of Trump. I don't know. He could just go out and get the newspaper, right? And people will be talking about him. So it's like he's getting all the attention, and that's what I'm saying. He's soaking all the attention away from hip hop beyond the sexy reds or the other the latest female rapper du jour, if you will. But yeah, he's the only one that's because Eminem has something I could care less.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
It's a very talented piece of work. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Did you want to talk about these movies that's still important? I think got some views on the last time my solo pod I talked about movies. And we've been talking about this lately. What are your thoughts? It's halfway through the summer season. Have you seen any movies in the theaters yet, Mr. Benja, this summer?
For the summer? No, I haven't. You know what? I was supposed to go see a movie with this girl that never happened, so it's whatever. Then Deadpool and Wolverine was my only other summer movie that I was gonna rock into.
Man, it's so sad, man. I love going to movies, man. Look, I was struggling trying to figure out if I could go see a movie last weekend. There was nothing I could see. Like I said, I already saw the Inside Out 2. That's gonna probably make 1.5 billion, probably the biggest animated film of all time. But like I'm waiting for Wolverine, maybe Twisters. I might go see that one. That might be interesting. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine is the only one I want to see, Mr. Benja. And it's so sad. It's movies in general, man. Maybe we'll talk about this. Did you check out that Netflix XOF? Did you look at that? The latest Beverly Hills Cop movie?
After coming to America, I had to put a pause on running to see something like that, and I'll see it, but I didn't rush to. I'm not, like, worried about it.
It was passable. It wasn't as bad, but it's like this nostalgia play, man. I think the diminishing returns, right? It's I don't know, man. They're going back to that way too much, and it's getting across the board, not just with Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy, but it's just across the board, man. It's like they're bringing back everything, man. This is not fun anymore. I don't know.
No, and you can tell the fun isn't there from the development side. If somebody just has a, "Hey, let's do this," and no one's excited about it, I guarantee you, no one excited in terms of making it, then I guarantee you it's not going to have that vibe to it. Like we were talking about X-Men 97, from watching it, even if you didn't like it, you're like, "No, the people who made this were excited about making it." They had a lot that went into it. Animation was interesting, dialogue was interesting. They made some stuff that there were arguments in the writing room. No, you cannot have this. Okay, if you're gonna have it, I need a new script by tomorrow morning. What are you gonna do? You want a new script? You want a new script? Order some food. I'll have a new script in the morning. That's that kind of passion that ends up making great work. And I guarantee you nobody has that for a lot of stuff going on today. It's just like, they want us to make a TV version of Total Recall or something. I don't care. If no one cares, then you're done.
That's the thing I'm trying to figure out was like, you're right. There's the rare exceptions, right? With Bo DeMayo, right? I don't know if you saw the news. I think you pinged that to me. He's getting replaced by Matthew Chauncey, right? Who did the Disney Plus Ms. Marvel and What If shows. But Bo DeMayo, man, that dude, man, he had passion for it, man. And it showed. It's man, how come some content is just like they know how to make that nostalgia thing, man? It's and to your point, I think It all starts with how what was it, Genesis, right? Was it just, "Hey, I'm Eddie Murphy. Let's figure out another show I can put on Netflix,"
Right.
or is it something that comes out of deep passion? We don't know Bo DeMails. He grew up as a gay teenager, and he saw the X-Men as metaphor for his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he was drawn to the characters, and so he had a story to tell and a point of view. And then that goes into to your point where they even little things like, "It'll be cool, what if we actually see what it's like to transport with the Nightcrawler?" And they did
Yeah.
that perspective. I was like, "Wow." Or, "It'll be cool, what if we made Cyclops a badass?" It was like that. I'm guaranteed those are conversations that happened because they were fans, and so I think you're right. If nostalgia can work, if people put the work into, or you get the crap that people try to take the piss out of the original one, like the He-Man crap that, Kevin Smith came up with, that just was terrible. And so it's like, why even do this? Are you trying to make commentary, or are you trying to say, "This is the beloved thing. I wanna honor what made it great, but also put my spin on it that meant something for me." And I think that's
Yeah.
what people miss. I don't know.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people trying to be clever instead of good.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's
Or
like,
just a shit. How about that? Just give a shit. That's all it don't have to be
yeah,
clever, don't have to be good, but just if you care, the good will take care of itself. That's what I think, right? If you get just because it's just really if you're trying to be good at something, then you think about all aspects of it, right? You think about a three-dimensional cube, right? You're gonna look at every
yeah,
angle. But if you don't give a shit, you're like, "Oh, it's just pink. Okay, just what color should these shirts be? I don't give a shit. Make it pink." What intentionality, what
yeah,
and that's why I'm amazed because even if you don't know, you can always tell intentionality went to every type of art form. Just it's
yeah,
something about it. And I think people realize that over time. But yeah, anyway, so I digress, man. You can see
yeah,
I'm passionate about this, but yeah, that's why movies suck right now, guys, because they don't put enough passion into them. You get maybe 2 movies, maybe 5 movies a year that are good, like Godzilla Minus
yeah,
Zero. That was amazing.
yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
How much passion is in Hollywood right now? I'm asking because I'm watching these things and I'm not, maybe it's just because I'm not tuned into it anymore, but I used to look up stories about, yeah, man, we wanted to get this film made and we fought this hard. And there were all these stories, and that was really part of the vibe. And even though that story was there, they were still pushing themselves away and just listen, it's not about me. It's about this movie. Go see it. And everybody was really interested in seeing how this thing played out. And you could see the not trying to necessarily earn a buck, but you could tell that it was this work that really meant a lot to a lot of people. They wanted to add to the cinematic history of just cinema.
Mhm, mhm. There's 2 passion projects that just came out recently. Kevin Costner did this Horizons thing. Western, I don't know if you heard about that. He did, like, part 1 and part 2. Part ro 1, he spent, like, 28 million of his own money to get this movie out, but it was a passion piece. I haven't seen it. Heard it was pretty decent because he gave a crap, and he put some work into it. And then Francis Ford Coppola, you heard about that Megatropolis, that crazy movie he created? He spent a lot of his money to create this, and so
Yes.
it's so weird. This movie is like in the middle of the movie, there has to be a actor that comes up and talk to the screen as if they're interacting with the main character in the movie. That's how weird this movie is. So yeah, so
I must insert caveat. Never let artists go too crazy without checking them.
dude, he got no checks on that one from anybody, literally and artistically. But yeah, Francis Ford Coppola, great director, did Godfather, Apocalypse Now. I was in the '70s, but he made a lot of his money in food and, wine, and so he's just, like, independently wealthy, so he's just an artist, a true artist at this point. But to your point, it's just that passion, and so that's where the gripe is, I think, when it comes to matter of fact, I see more passion in TV. That's why TV is still the bomb, right? TV
Yeah,
show that you could tell there's a lot of depth to them in artistry, right? Beef, the TV show Beef, the recent one, The Bear, right?
yeah.
Those are shows that people give a crap about.
I wonder if the attitude that we've seen in the workplace, everyone's talking about quiet quitting. You can't treat me this way. I know our generation gave a certain amount of leverage to that guy's a complete badass. Um, He's gonna yell, that's okay. He's gonna park in the front. We know we don't have assigned spaces, but he's gonna park in the front anyway, just leave him alone.
Mhm.
And nowadays, it's who is he to do this? And he can't yell at me and I deserve. I'm like, look, I'm not willing to do what that guy does, whatever. You want me to slice the cheesecake and leave it at his desk every day? Sure, fine,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not sure that's I think there's a bit of that's actually necessary. That person who's or those people who are just going to be so into it and out there, we have to give them a little bit of space to be obnoxious to the rest of us. And I don't mean mean, but weird, out of the box. They require certain things and don't require other things. I think that's what I was getting at when I said, does Hollywood have that kind of thing anymore?
I'm sure there is. I think with the algorithms, the rise of Netflix and its algorithms, the lack of the producers were the ones who drove projects. They had projects for years, even decades before they got things to the front line. Actors can go come and go, directors can come and go. The producers were the one that kind of created that. So in theory, they're supposed to be the keeper of that passion, but they're no longer relevant. And the ones who have passion now, are the ones who have power, who built power over time. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. This is a weird time, and so that's why this discussion on movies is interesting. Can we discuss as we view this? You talked about Captain Black American Falcon, right? The new trailer just got released.
Yeah,
Captain
did you
American
see it?
4. I did. I sent you a text. Did you not see it?
Oh, I didn't
You
catch that text. No, I'm sorry.
yeah, let me you saw it, right?
Yeah, yeah, I totally saw it.
Okay, let me read you this text and get your live reaction on the pod. I said, Isaiah Bradley putting that old black man's strength on him.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You were that okay, okay. That's what you're referencing.
Deep cut, guys. If you know what that is, you know what that is. But yeah, what you think?
You know what? I was ready to hate on Sam Captain American Black Falcon Wilson, but I was pleasantly surprised that they straight up addressed a lot of the things we were thinking about, where it's not this sad kind of, "Hi, guys, I'm the knockoff character."
Mhm.
It's, "No, I've gotta fight for some things. I'm thrown into a situation that's crazy. Things are happening around me that I don't understand." And it gave me a little bit of that aspirational hero vibe that I think's been missing for a while in a lot of these Marvel movies.
Mhm.
And when that hit me, I was like, "Okay, we got a little bit of charm here." And there was a little bit of political intrigue, and I'm
Yeah.
all about the political intrigue in my hero movies. And then I won't spoil it, but this character was in there, and they didn't show much of him, but I was like, "Oh my god, there it is. That's his foot."
Yeah, excited about a foot.
I got excited about a foot, dog.
What color was
It
the foot?
it was a different skin tone than all the other feet I've seen in Marvel.
Yeah, man. I like that political intrigue. It reminds me of Captain America, the Winter Soldier, just that
Yeah,
vibe. Yeah, and I like that vibe for Marvel. And to your point, addressing dead on Captain Black American Falcon was his purpose, if
yeah,
not a knockoff character. But hopefully they even address that basically, yeah, you're right. You're not Steve Rogers, but I'm this. And they show what he could do that's different. So yeah, I'm excited about it, man. Hopefully Marvel with Deadpool, Wolverine, and then obviously this coming out. What did they, oh, it's coming out to February, so we got some time.
yeah,
Black History Month, of course. Let's get it right. We'll see what happens, man. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I like I said, I hope it does. I'm sure it does. It will do passable. The
yeah.
people got their knives out for Marvel now, man. It's just like
So this is
sharp.
the only Marvel movie in between Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's the next one.
I think so.
There's nothing else. I can't imagine.
Yeah, that's it, man. Because this technically this was supposed to come out this summer. Pushed
Right.
it back 'cause strikes and all this stuff and
Yeah.
some retooling. Because you remember you go to McDonald's, there's a little black American, Falcon
Yeah.
sitting around. They like, "What's this here?" I'm like, "Happy Meal." Coughing up black falcons everywhere.
Can you still get those? There's a lady behind the counter. Hold on, sugar. I think we got a bunch of those in the box down here.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm pretty hype about it, so we'll see what they Marvel does what they do, man. Man, I know I'm moving around a little bit.
Hold on one second. The thing about Marvel and Disney that I'm worried about is the Disney support. I'm wondering if they've, I don't want to say given up, but just throwing their hands up in the air. I was like, we don't understand these Star Wars and Marvel nerds. And I say that not just because of the marketing and the actual stuff that they're putting out in terms of media. I go down to my neighborhood Target and I swear they have one of those big Disney sections.
Mhm.
They moved all the Star Wars and all the Marvel stuff in there. It's, like, in the bottom corner of this little Disney area. You have a couple Star Wars things and some Marvel characters that are falling over and not even hanging on the pegs. It's just sad, and I'm thinking, they're pumping Donald Duck harder than Captain America, and there's a Captain America movie coming out. It's just curious to me, or harder than Star Wars, and The Acolyte is out right now.
And that's you read my mind, that's why I was gonna go with it. Yeah, man, not looking good, Mr. Benja. I know you haven't been paying attention to the discourse. There were, like, some fans, and then after this last episode, I think some of those fans fell off. I just it's man, Star Wars just can't get right, man. It's just man, you had all this open road to do something different, unique, and it's still they're just missing something, man. It's just so anyway, so yeah, a lot of I get where they were trying to go with it, and so I respect the attitude. I know you haven't watched it. Maybe we'll discuss it when you do watch the whole series. Or maybe it might play better if you watch it in a binge mode. But I think there's some concern here about just man, what are we doing, man, with Star Wars, man? And I get it. I think it I had this hot take, but I don't know if Star Wars can expand beyond it. Is it harder to expand beyond just Skywalkers, right? To create a more big expanding universe like Game of Thrones, right? I think it's difficult, right? And they're trying to do it, but it's been driven by the Skywalkers for so long. It's just like hard to open up to new characters and all that without these creators putting their little spin on it, their little salt bay on it. It's
I get you there. That's what I was concerned with back in the day, even when the sequel trilogy came out. I was like, as I said, I made that one reel about the two unbearable extremes where it's like, guys, we've got to do everything in a completely different direction. And Broom Kid is going to be the next F a Skywalker. You don't have to be a Skywalker to have the Force, and we already know that. Kit Fisto has the Force. What are you talking about? Get out of here, making stupid arguments. And then on the other end, you've got these freaking diehards who've read every book, and it's technically there are no gray Jedi. Oh my god, I know that. Shut up. We're talking about never mind. Star
I,
Wars done.
yeah,
I'm mad.
you know what? And I was hoping that this could be. I knew there was gonna be some hate because of who was in it. But I was hoping it's gonna open up to some new storytelling, so I watched it with my kids, and even they were, "I don't know about that one, Dad." I was like, "Oh, wow. This this is not good." I'm the one that I was patient 0 for them. I exposed them to the original trilogy. We saw a couple episodes of Clone Wars. They were into it, and now they're like, they doubt my street cred, man, my nerd cred. I'm like, "Oh, Lord. I might fall off. I find something good for them next." So anyway, Star
Dad's
Wars,
not Dad's
it's
not cool anymore. He watches Star Wars.
I know, man. At least I gave him Avatar, so they can't take that from me, so that's good.
Ah.
Yeah, so anyway, so that's I digress, Mr. Benja. What else you wanna cover, man, before we head out for the day?
Real quick, man. You asked me a while ago if I listened to Joe Rogan. You remember that? You asked me. I never got back with you, but I said I wanted to. So, listen is a strong word. If there's somebody he talks to that I'm interested in, I'll check it out. I listened to the Terrence Howard one. That was a tough listen. I don't necessarily let me back up. I don't necessarily follow Joe Rogan like that. I keep tabs on him. He's when I say I listen to him, it's not, oh, I listen to Joe Rogan because he's the paragon of everything awesome and he deserves to be listened to on every topic. No, he's just a very interesting person. I think he's fun. I think he's very motivational in a lot of respects. He does things very entrepreneurially, gets out there and does them, tackles tough issues or tries to bring them up, brings certain people together. Extra extra interesting conversationalist in the way he bounces between comedy, not knowing, picking at topics, pushing boundaries. And he's a comedian, so he does it in a fun way. So I think there's a lot of interesting things to learn from him, and that is why I tune in. That's what I'll say. I tune in to what he's doing. But do I listen to him? Based on his past episodes with how he deals with the black audience, I'm not going to call him or Grant Cardone or a lot of these guys over and just have a great, "Hey, man, we're on the same page. Let's go to a Drake concert together." We're not doing that. It and with this last little episode with him, and Eric Weinstein, Tom Bilyeu's now getting in the mix. It's this thing I was talking about where it's like they take a black character, a black individual, and they say, "Look, man, he's so funny, man. He's got some interesting ideas. Everybody, you should listen to what this guy has to say." It's putting us out there as entertainment instead of as people, and I think that happens a little bit too much with certain people like Joe Rogan. The way he put Terrence Howard out there. Jamie Foxx was on. That was a cool that's actually a good interview. Jamie Foxx and Joe Rogan. And they can Jamie Foxx can hold his own and knows what's going on. And they're comedians. They match on that level.
Mhm.
But with somebody like Terrence Howard, I don't think it was as straight up and down respectful as it should be. And he'll say, "No, I let him say everything he needed to." It's like, a little bit of that's the problem.
Let's be honest, Terrence Howard put himself in that predicament anyway, right? By saying foolishness.
Yes. Yes, he is. But it just seemed like such a setup to you get what I'm saying, all right?
I know. They find the clown folks out of, let's be honest, out of our race. They've done it for hundreds of years, and they, oh, look at this. This is the paradigm of black culture or whatever. I hate to say it, Tyler Perry, he
Yeah.
gets all the movies and stuff, but we all know it's trash. It is. Sorry.
Mhm.
But he has more movies come out and TV shows than I see any black creator ever. And the stuff he puts out there is just not the greatest. You saw Donald Glover talked about it. He said, I only got one award. I got the same amount of BET awards as Sam Smith. So here's a guy that we've seen as putting out great stuff and thoughtful content and creativity. But even our own black community, we don't respect that excellence. So I think it's unfortunate, yes, if you're the clown of the, and then, if it fits a certain stereotype, that's what they want to put out there. They're gonna put it out there, and some of us don't do ourselves any favor by falling into that stuff stereotype.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, but like I said, I'm not a Joe Rogan. I listen to him. I don't listen to him, but I just know what he's about. He's gonna have you saw he's gonna have the next live Netflix special. So we'll see how he does on that. But I'm not keen on his comedy too much, but I don't know. But he's the most number one podcaster in the world. So who would have thunk it? Here's a guy, conspiracy theorist, MMA, comedian. Here he is, the kind of leading and changing behavior, influencing people from his words. It's crazy, man. Crazy times we live in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm not promoting Joe Rogan. I still think he's a funny guy worth listening to but bring along your cup of salt to scoop with. I'm not saying just go listen to him or anything like that. But yeah, man, I just have a problem with the way people present us in a lot of these situations. So I'm always concerned about that, especially from the left wing. I know what the right wing is up to, but the left wing kind of sneaks in there and does some foolishness like
Yeah.
putting Eric Weinstein and oh, that was terrible. I just think that whole situation was terrible. I couldn't watch it. I was just like, this is the biggest shit show.
Yeah, yeah. Man, Mr. Benja, this has been insightful as always. I think we're gonna end it here. Everyone, thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment at Show versus Business on X, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Visit us at our website, Show versus Business. Go check it out. We have some great information there. Mr. Benja, enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, man. Peace.